if that's peaking or not. Is that coming through okay? Yeah? Put that.
I can mute each one. So
Yeah, okay. Do you want me to put this one on? Yeah.
No, just put them by the side, by each other side.
Oh, yeah.
On there.
Yeah, okay.
In front of you.
I'll put them in front of me. Yeah, cool. Like that? Yeah, no worries. Oh, right, because, yeah, you can switch one off and, yeah. See how it comes through. Number 5 chips it across, and there's a player down behind the ball as well. Seems to be quite sore, a bit slow to get up, chips it around, and now going inside forward 50, bringing it across to a dangerous position. Leaper's going at it, falls down in front, snapping around the body towards goal. 2 wells to put it through. Don't know how that's sounding.
Yeah. Do the commentary?
Yeah, cool. No worries. Yeah, ball will go back into the middle.
This one's the loudest, yeah.
So there is one that's louder than another one?
Number 1.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Because what I was finding when I'll explain it, and you can kind of listen through the mic. What I was listening to when I listened back to some of it was when the co-com get a little louder. Like when their first few words they said were a bit quiet, and then it would kind of warm up. Whereas I was, yeah. Which ones? Yeah. Yeah, cool. APFL fans have had this game circled on their calendars all season long, and for quite some time we've known that we would see the Roosters and the Magpies in the qualifying final, and that day has finally arrived. The Roosters have impressively gone through the season undefeated, but the Magpies are a side with momentum of their own, winning 11 of their past 12 games. Make no mistake about it, this is a final showdown that is as good as it gets. It's first versus second, Two Wells versus Mallala battle for the first spot in the 2025 APFL Grand Final, live and free on Filming Footy. Welcome to Hamley Bridge Oval. My name's Lewis McKenna, and joining me is a man in the know when it comes to all things APFL. Source, of course, the reserves coach for Anglevale. How you doing, mate?
G'day, Lewis. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very good. Excited to be here. Doesn't look like it, but apparently it's a nice 23, 24 degree day here and a bit of a breeze blowing across. But other than that, it's a nice day. It's APFL finals, people everywhere.
Yeah, it should be a cracking game between these two sides. I think it was pretty close last time. I reckon like I said a couple of weeks ago, I think Two Wells are the team to beat as usual. I think they've just got that extra gear when it's needed. But I think Mallala will push them pretty hard. Yeah,
absolutely. We actually got a little bit of a run into this game a couple of weeks ago. Of course, being the Anglevale reserves coach, Anglevale had the misfortune, I guess, of playing both the Roosters and Mallala at the end of the season to finish it off. So we got to get a good look at these two sides, and it's a couple of players that stand out for both sides that could really stand out. There's some key players, some of the best players in the competition getting around on the park today. But my question for you, Source, is how does Mallala deal with someone like, say, Jacob Thompson, for example? We've seen him in that game against Anglevale at the end of the season, basically just standing in the goal square, holding off his defender with one arm and kicking 6 goals.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't like to be the defender on him. I think they've got a bit of work to do up forward. I'm not sure who they'll put on him at this stage, but yeah, look, you've just got to cut his supply. That's the way to beat him. Like, just give him limited supply throughout the day, which is going to be a tough gig because we know how good Two Wells midfield is and how they transition the ball from one end to the other. So, yeah, big job whoever gets him. But if the midfield can do their work, Mallala's midfield can do their work, then they might go a little bit of a way to keeping him a bit quiet.
Absolutely. You touched on it before. There's been 2 games so far this season between these two sides. So Two Wells in round 4 was the first time they matched up, winning by 30 points, 10-15-75, defeated Mallala 7-3-45. And then in round 11, this is the interesting matchup to me. So obviously I mentioned before, Two Wells have won every game this year. This is in fact their closest game they've had all year in round 11. It was against Mallala, 12-13-85, 9-19-73. I actually mentioned to you a few weeks ago that Mallala has got a bit of an issue with inaccuracy in front of goals. Had that flipped around, then Two Wells might have actually lost the game.
Yeah, well, that's it. Bad kicking's bad footy. So just want to make sure that every opportunity to score needs to make it, especially in finals. Everything's heightened. Everything's more important. Every kick matters.
Yeah.
So
handling the pressure is important as well.
Yeah,
I mean, of course,
the speed of the game picks up finals time. Less time to get the ball free, so you're kicking under pressure or handballing under pressure a bit more, which then creates more turnovers, more ground ball stuff. So
absolutely,
whoever sort of settles the best will go on and win it.
Well, I've actually got in front of me here, Source. I did a little bit of extra research about what players for Two Wells actually were involved in. Sorry, I haven't put it on your sheet.
No, that's all right.
I should have done it and photocopied it.
No,
but
all good.
There is a bunch of these players that have played in, of course, Two Wells seeking their 5th premiership in a row.
Yep.
But you can see there in front of you, unfortunately we can't show our viewers, but the amount of players in this Two Wells side that have been in that 4-peat and possibly 5-peat if they can get up this year, just amazing. And if you actually throw Ned Sekafine in there, he's actually won 6 of them.
Yeah.
So absolutely incredible for him. These two teams have matched up in the finals in recent years quite a bit. Most recently in the 2023 Grand Final, it was Two Wells getting the win there by 17 points. So they have traded victories in the final series. This one really important. Mallala obviously will possibly have to beat Two Wells twice to win a premiership, but maybe just the once. But a lot more to unfold here at Hamley Bridge. We've had 3 games here come before it as well. It was Virginia getting the win in the 14s, Two Wells in the 17s, and the reserves. So in the middle we get underway, and these two midfields will go cracking into each other all afternoon. Getting slung around was Tiller. Palazzari, though, picking it up for the Roosters and hacking it inside forward 50 for the first time. Comes out the back of the contest, and Eckerman leading his way to the footy, close to the boundary line and eventually over. So, of course, we spoke about Thompson. He's one they've got to worry about up full forward, and now going into the ruck here for 2Ls. But you've got to look at other players like Barnett, for example, is an absolute supreme player for the Roosters. There's plenty to worry about for Mallala at all areas of the ground.
Yeah, well, like we said a couple of weeks ago, there's probably no weaknesses in 2L's side. No. They've just got quality in every position. And look, Mallala's not far off the mark either, so it's just going to be...
I think experience is probably the biggest thing between these two sides. Of course, Mallala have also had their fair share of experience, winning premierships in 2020, 2016, 13 and 10. So they win one every few years, but it's been 2L's getting in the way of them in recent years. As Thorne is dumped to the ground, spearing tackle there. That was Hayden coming his way through, so... pressuring, tackling here from the Roosters, trying to lock it inside. Rainbrett gets the handball out. Wise with the don't argue, flicks it back, and Hayden inside forward 50. Sitting underneath this one, Sekafine, and how about that for a mark? That is tricky to take, that Sauce.
Yeah, it would have been blowing in the wind, swirling in the wind a bit. Very good concentration to take that. Tough pocket to kick from. When I was coaching out here, we did try and practice it a bit, but it is a tough pocket.
He's blowing a little bit to the right, so he hangs it up. It's going close, but just pulls across through for a minor score. So the first on the score.
He's called it a goal.
Oh, he's called that a goal. I was sure that we were sitting right behind that, Sauce, but we trust the goal umpire sitting right underneath that and maybe just shaved it in. So Ned Sekafine in for the first goal. I'm a bit blindsided by that, but there we go.
We've got to stop making these predictions.
we do. I keep
saying it's a tough kick from here, and he's made it look easy, really.
He's a fantastic player. I obviously touched on him. So I actually said 6 times. Sorry, he's a 7-time premiership winner, dating all the way back to 2012 with the 2L's Roosters. He's played 258 games, A-grade games. Never once played in the reserves in that entire time as well. I went on a bit of a deep dive on him this morning, having a look at some of his notes as Heaslip turns his way through. First public apology to Jack Heaslip for ignoring his handshake in the post-game interview a couple of weeks ago. Eckerman, I heard he copped a lot about it, so apologies to him. I was good to catch up with him last week at the elimination final to properly shake his hand. And a mark on the wing by Harness. A chipping ball over the top. Palazzari did play on, and the umpire has called play on. Trevor tackling him to the ground. He was good enough to get the handball away and eventually over the boundary. So you, of course, just watched the reserves game. Being the Anglevale Reserves coach, you will play the loser of that game, which, of course, was Mallala. Would you take out of that one, Sauce?
Unfortunately for Mallala, I think they did 3 ankles.
There you go.
So they might be a little depleted next week, which obviously is good for us, but you don't want to ever see opposition players injured. But we'll see. Obviously, we'll go and do some planning this week and train well and come out with the intent to win.
Absolutely. Anglevale in the reserves grand final. We are in the preliminary final, we should say, and we'll have all the grand finals in a couple of weeks' time at Mallala Oval as Heaslip with a tackle just outside of forward 50 there, so it'll be hurled back up.
The ground is a little bit bumpy underfoot out there, so it's not surprising that they did some ankles.
Very dusty, I noticed as well, having a wander out there. The centre square looks a bit brown and is, but it's no real mud. It's just dirty, and lots of little dirt patches all the way around the ground. I was watching some of the close-up through the binoculars in the reserves, and clouds of dust coming up after the tackle. So, as losing the ball there in the contest was Slattery, so that'll be a free kick to the Magpies.
Good tackle there.
Yeah, absolutely it was. So, Toby Morn will go along up the wing. Further down the line, Mead jumped up, couldn't quite pull it down, got a hand on it. Hayden out the back of the contest, just waits for the cavalry to arrive, but gets chased down. And that was Taylor with a chase down, who we were quite impressed with a couple of weeks ago at Anglevale, Harrison Taylor.
Yeah, he was very good. Good speed.
So, knocking it down in front. Sekafine gets a handball out the back of the contest. Warnicky there couldn't quite pick it up, so it'll be ball back up once more.
It's interesting Mallala went down the line there, because the normal game would be to switch and get it out on the fat side, but I think the way 2Ls have set up their defensive structure, looks like they've forced them to go down the line there and create a contest, which is good. Good by 2Ls.
A well-drilled side, like you mentioned. So Wise maybe didn't get the handball away, and umpire was a bit blindsided, so we'll ball it up not far. Hennessy in the ruck against Slattery. Not quite going anywhere. I think that's Heaslip at the bottom. In fact, it's not. But they'll ball it up once more. As you expect, a tough contested game. We had a arm wrestle between the Packers and the Eagles last week at Long Plains Oval. You'd expect this to be the same. Clements, though, rips out. Handball over the top from Taylor. Intercepting was Hayden. Couldn't quite get clean possession. King with a bump. Couldn't pick it up. Clements breaking through. Handballs it back through the corridor, and ball still getting battered around. Eventually over the boundary line.
This is what you expect from a final. Really hard contested footy. A bit scrappy early on when everyone's trying to get their hands on the ball, but I reckon second half it'll open up a little bit. We'll just see a little bit more cleaner footy, I reckon.
So Hennessy knocks it down in front and once again spills out the back of the contest, and quickly wrapped up in a tackle is Noah Barnett. So these two midfields are going to have tired legs pretty quickly in this game, and fitness will play a big role as they go at it, stoppage after stoppage. Ed Mead's out the back of this contest, gets a bad bounce, works his way back onto it though, and quickly getting tackled by Tiller. Allows him to go nowhere. Brilliant work by Tiller. Ed Mead's a dangerous forward for 2Ls.
Can't let him off the leash. He'll absolutely burn you.
So knocking it down there, Thompson, but quickly gets bouncing back out of their defensive 50. Turnbull with a handball at the back of the contest, and they go back inside forward 50. Smith over his hands. Drops down in front of Wise, and he's quickly tackled. So good defensive pressure here from Mallala, but they can't quite get it into their forward 50 at the moment. Cale Olds knocks it down in front. Rainbrecht ripping through, snapping around his body. Had a couple goals a couple weeks ago, but just fades that one across through for a minor score. So 7 on the Sportal scoreboard to the Roosters, and Mallala yet to score.
Feels like that breeze has picked up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
From the start of this game, favouring the southern end.
So a high ball, Pack sitting underneath it, comes out the back, and May goes through the corridor. So now a chance to run and go through Nauman to a one-on-one contest. Clements in front, drops it to his feet. Extra handball to Heaslip, but just through his hands. Now ball's back in dispute here at centre half forward for the Magpies, and May sits on top of it. Doesn't allow it to go anywhere. So they'll go again. Olds taps it over his head. Nauman breaking through. Does get a boot on it. So inside forward 50. Wilson at his feet. Heaslip picks it up, and Slattery sends him to the ground. So this is where Mallala need to try and lock them in, Source.
Yeah, first time in their forward 50 this quarter, and that's it. They just want to make some benefit, take some benefit from it and score. But as you can see, 2L's working their way out of that defence, but only for a short period of time.
So Sleeve pops it out wide. It was a good kick. May couldn't quite get it with the pressure closing from Pellizzari. Hacks around on his body towards goal, though. Goes across the face. Gets knocked down in front, and they've got to compose themselves, the Roosters. Good chipping ball into Hayden. So a chance to clear for 2Ls. Chip the ball out a little wider. Goes over the head. So here in the flank. Handball across to Harness. He composed himself well. And that's a brilliant kick. Turnbull couldn't quite take the mark, the ruckman, but a good pick up at his feet. Extra handball to Harness. Did well. Now a little further. Goes into the corridor looking for Ed Mead over the back. It's a good weighted kick. Bit of a foot race to the ball. Running at it is Whittlesey. Does pick it up. Tries to move it out through to Tiller. And Thompson sits on top of him. So ball up. Dangerous position here for the Mallala defence. This is where Thompson can be dangerous, but he's going up against Cale Olds. Rainbrecht, though, snapping around his body and just marked by Slee, and he decides he's just going to give himself some space and knock it through for a minor score.
Good goalkeeping.
Absolutely it is. So, rush behind on the Sportal scoreboard. So, looks to go to the outer side. The pack forms to sit underneath this one. May goes crashing through over Dart, and that'll be a free kick. A little audacious from Jack May. So he pops a high ball up, does Dart. Thompson underneath it, over his head. Barnett's there, just keeps his hands free of the contest. Handball's back into the corridor. Tippett's there as well, gets knocked over by Sekafine, and should be a free kick, and is.
Are you going to use big words all day like that? Audacious?
I think I can do. I see, reach down into my thesaurus, my vocabulary, see what I can pull out.
I like
Thorn.
it.
Over the hands of May, harness, and quickly wrapped up in a tackle. Yeah, you've challenged me now, Sauce. I might have to start thinking. Hopefully it doesn't take away from my calling. So Turnbull goes unopposed and knocks it down in front, but not going anywhere is Franklin. So they won't be too worried here, the Magpies. Obviously down by 8 points, but they get a chance to go inside forward 50 now. Sitting and on top of Clement's head. Gets punched down in front and looking to work his way back onto the footy is Clements. Clean pick up there as well, going to ground. Handballs it off to King. Inside forward 50 towards goal. And through for a minor score.
Probably had a bit time steady there. I don't reckon there was much talk around him. He just sort of got it on his boot real quick when he probably had 2 or 3 seconds to steady up and kick a goal.
Absolutely.
Pressure of finals footy there.
Yeah, it's moments, isn't it? You can take the extra couple seconds, compose yourself, or you can rush it as Slattery takes the mark, clearing defensive 50. Harness. And longer down the line. It's a bit of a wobbler, but Smith is in space. Has to work his way onto the footy now. Quickly set upon, so has to get a handball away. Don't reckon he got anything on that. Brilliant tackle from Baker. As Slee chips it across, but a dangerous kick as Edmeade sits in the hole and takes the mark, and you'd think he'd give himself a chance from here.
Oh, he'll kick this.
There we go. I thought you just said you've got to stop making predictions, but I guess
I
when
don't
it's
care.
Caleb
It's 2 wells
Edmeade.
and Mallala. I don't care.
So Edmeade holds on the mark, stands about 40 metres, has the distance covered, no problem, pops it through the middle, had to deal with a bit of breeze.
Never in doubt, mate. I told you.
Never in doubt at all. So a little bit of a buffer here for 2 wells. They're off to a good start, and Edmeade pops it through for a goal. And just a brilliant goal scorer. He's had 13 games in season 2025, kicked 47 goals, so missed a few. Second in the goal-kicking tally. Of course, behind JV Kovacic of the Hummocks Watchman Eagles, and he's still alive, of course, in season 2025, playing next week against the loser of this game, but 48 goals for the season. Brilliant player. As I mentioned, he's one of those players that played in the last 4 premierships for 2 wells. He's kicked 368 goals in his time with the Roosters. So once again in the middle. Now it is time for Mallala just to kick a goal and stay in touch. Baker handball across. Lee couldn't control it. Quickly gets tackled and decked to the ground. Hunting him was Blake Harris. Not allowed to go anywhere.
Yeah, he had a day out against Hamley Bridge when he first came to the competition in his first year here, Caleb. He kicked 25 against us.
Jesus, 25 goals. So he knows this ground well.
Oh, it was actually at 2 wells.
It was at 2 wells. There we go. So dumping to the ground once again in a tackle from Jacob Baker. I've been excited to call these 2 teams all year long. Haven't had the fortune of being able to do it, but since the middle of the year we've known they were going to be 1 and 2 with some confidence as Eckerman comes out to the broadcast side. Yeah, it is. So goes over the line out on the full. So about 55 from home. I'll send the ball back in. So Franklin just chips the ball across the harness. So the Roosters, this is where they just stop and compose themselves, Sauce. A lot of teams will just bomb that in straight away from the free kick, but they look for the right option.
And now they bomb it in.
And they do. They see something they like.
That's gone.
Geez, that is carried. How about that? Dylan Rainbreck from 65 metres, if you don't mind. And the Roosters are off to a flyer at Hamley Bridge.
Yeah, he has got a bit of a hoof on him, that fella.
Absolutely he does.
Strong legs.
Reckon he maybe just felt the wind at his back for a sec, just pick up. He felt the gust. Said, I'll send the ball on the way with it. So they're off to a fly here.
It's probably lucky he carried because
Yeah.
by the time he'd kicked it, Jacob had 3 Mallala blokes on him. So
It seems to be, we spoke about it before, about what they're going to do to deal with Jacob Thompson. Well, you don't have to worry about Jacob Thompson if the ball's sailing over his head.
exactly.
So, Olds knocks it down in front and Heaslip gets onto it. Couldn't quite pick it up, but knocks it down in front. Wise is there. Tries to break through a tackle and does. Hayden composes himself. Wise. So they work well, the midfielders here for the Roosters. Slattery, extra kick up, but Slee sitting in the hole to take the intercept mark. So chips the ball across and it's a good one to Mead. And King. Looks to go quickly. Pellizzari was closing. 2-on-1 contest though as Barnett nearly takes the mark. They move the ball through hands. Slattery gets a bad bounce and sits underneath the contest. Handball out the back here from Trevor looking for May. Dart. Bouncing off hands. Good tackle there from Jesse Trevor. But a free kick paid, so bit of illegal contact. The Sekafine takes the mark in the centre square. Looks to go longer. Rainbreck once again sitting underneath this one, and we've just seen this is his range, so pops it on his boot. Thompson's there once again, but he'll sail it through for a goal. Jeez, back-to-back goals from outside 50 for Dylan Rainbreck. He's set it on fire.
Yeah, great start from him. He needs to be held a bit more accountable. He's had a bit of space to himself in the last couple of minutes. Obviously, you can't let him have any space, even around that 50-metre mark, because he's just damaging.
So, 4-2-26 on the Sportal scoreboard. Mallala with just a solitary behind. We saw a game just before in the reserves where it was a margin to be a little unexpected. There were two teams that really only separated by a bit of percentage at the end of the year, but it was a bit of a blowout win to two wells. I think for neutral footy fans, they won't want to see that here today in what's such an important game. Rainbreck once again picks it up, floats it up in the breeze. You almost got to think this could go close once again, but touch through. So minor score as Rainbreck keeps peppering the goals.
Just didn't quite get the contact he needed there. Just sort of floated off his boot a little bit there.
Would have been the most confident man on the ground. Well, in fact, he already is, but would have confirmed that if that sailed through. So still, though, with an impressive margin, they go long out of defensive 50. May fists it across. Wise underneath it, couldn't get the clean pick up. Handball out from Taylor. In fact, it was Baker. Gets smothered by Clements. And Dart inside forward 50. Wobbling ball marked by Franklin. It's just this forward 50 pressure. They're not giving Mallala's defenders any chance to rest at the moment, Sauce.
No, not at all. And then when Mallala's defenders are running off, just leaving a couple of their blokes free like that. Rainbreck was standing right behind him by himself as well. So Mallala just need to be a little bit more accountable at the moment. They're just a fraction too loose.
So, as we've seen, the distance shouldn't be a problem, but pulls it across through for yet another minor score. So 4-4-28 plays the one solitary behind on the Sportal scoreboard. So, yeah, you've almost got to assume as a Mallala defender, once that ball clears the defensive 50, don't run too far if you play. You've got to almost assume it's coming back. Until it's absolutely cleared the half, then you've got to assume really the worst against two wells. So,
and that's where they've been breaking down, is that kick out of defence and then up the wing a little bit. They shouldn't be falling over there and the ball just keeps coming back. So
we see that through Devlin. Goes inside forward 50 and Thompson takes the clunking contested mark. And this should be elementary for him, really. A bit of breeze to contend with, but 25 metres out, pretty well straight in front. Jacob Thompson is a known goal scorer.
Yeah, he'd want to mark this one down. Don't do it.
I've made that mistake before, Sauce, you know that. I can't write their name in, but yeah, he is a known goal scorer. I mentioned before, he's played just the 10 games. in season 2025. 39 goals, though. He's, of course, a league rep, unsurprisingly, and puts it through.
You didn't trust me.
I really, should have put it through. But Thompson, this is starting to become a little bit of a training drill almost the last few minutes. Two Wells, they've had all of the possession. Mallala haven't been able to get anything going at the moment, and this is almost kind of like a game I called here earlier in the season between Hamley Bridge and Balaclava. I think it was about 60, if memory serves me correct, about 67-1 at quarter time. This game, although not quite blown out as much, in the last few minutes, Two Wells just having everything out of the middle, back into their forward 50. So,
and they do that. They score so quickly and heavily.
Yeah. So punched out of the contest, and dancing around is Jamie Humphreys, handballing back in and inside forward 50 once again. We see it. Ed Mead couldn't quite pull down the mark. Gets handballed back into the contest. Franklin pulled down in a tackle by Tiller. So once again, it'll be hurled back up. 35 from goal. Thompson just takes it straight out of the ruck, puts it out in front of Sekafine, trying to rip through. Heaslip knocks the ball away, and it's going to be a free kick paid, taken down after disposal. So another opportunity here for Sekafine to put one through, and he kicked one from a tighter angle a moment ago. We do have a bit of a delayed replay in front of us, so we should be able to see in a moment exactly what happened in that situation there. But sitting right behind him here, Sekafine just pokes at it and puts it through for another goal. So, yeah, it was Heaslip pulling him down afterwards there, Source. So this is, as I mentioned just a moment ago, this is exactly, it goes without saying, what Mallala don't want to see. They don't want to be fighting an uphill battle against a side like the Two Wells Roosters. And that's exactly what they got on their hands at the moment.
Yeah, not looking great, but they have the breeze in the next quarter, so let's see where they're at half-time.
It's hard to know. I mean, we're, of course, in a truck here, so we're protected from all sides right in front of us. But it's hard to tell exactly how strong that breeze is. So wait till the second quarter to really understand exactly what kind of influence that has on the game. So as Turnbull out of the middle of the ground, May falling back with it, and quickly set upon, not allowed to go anywhere. So back inside that forward 50 once again. So going close to the boundary and eventually over. The Roosters hunting here in the first quarter. Hennessy and Turnbull in the ruck. Dribbles inside forward 50. Slee balks around a couple. Takes a bounce out the back of the contest, and a little further down the line, one-on-one, and a good mark to Heaslip.
This is where they struggle from.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
You have a look at Two Wells' defensive structure now. They surround that space so they can't switch play.
While also still keeping a one-on-one structure. You can't see a single Mallala player with any space to be able to chip the ball around, to control possession at all. And this is the exact result. Two Wells get it back. Dart inside forward 50. One-on-one contest, and beating him to the footy there was Whittlesey. So they can do this fine. They can hit a target out of full back and get to the back flank. It's exactly this one like you just mentioned, Source. Just has to bite off the kick down the line. Has to trust Hennessy to go against four Roosters to try and take the mark. Mallala just weren't aware to it, but he was good to get a free kick out of it.
Just being held there.
So Hennessy, a long time Mallala Magpie. One-on-one contest there, and Wilson couldn't take advantage. Hayden out the back of the contest now, just confidently takes a bounce and chips across and switches over to Humphreys.
Never wastes a kick, David Hayden. Never wastes a possession.
No.
So clean with it every time.
So the Roosters will just calmly switch it over the other side. Dart. And all the way over to the other pocket. So it should be called to play on in a moment. It is. Had harness short, but just decides to take his chances a little further up the ground. Harris couldn't quite take the mark, but Warnocky has some space. Just handballs it out in front of himself, and Sekafine's there as well. Kicked a couple goals in this first quarter. Just surveys his options. Back inside forward 50. Eckerman should clear. Long down the wing. Contest coming up and handball out the back, but there's been a whistle blown for a free kick here to the Magpies, and he slipped once again. So he'll go to a one-on-one, and well done there, outmarking Cale Olds. That was Binion. Chips a ball across to your man in Hayden. It's been, you're right, every 2 Wells game I've called this year, as you just mentioned, right there, doesn't waste a possession.
Never seemed to be standing on it either.
No.
They just let him run right.
Slattery a little further around and switching once again to Binion. The way they are manipulating Mallala with this, just switching and switching and switching, they are making them tired, aren't they, Sauce?
Yeah, they'll just run them ragged. They'll hold on to the footy. They don't ever give it up too easily.
No.
Just protect it really well.
So Baker trying to rip through the contest. Handball, Nauman down the line. So just has to hack one on the boot, but that one will work to King. So Dale King will wind around, pop that one over close to the boundary line, but taking the mark is Wilson. So his first opportunity, Wilson, I think it's his first touch of the game. Had a few weeks off with an injury, and looks like he might even give himself an opportunity here from the flank. Didn't look overly confident at the start, Sauce, but he's going to give it a go, and now he'll have no choice.
Again, another tough pocket to kick goals from because it's slightly downhill, or he's kicking slightly uphill.
And the breeze.
And a bit of a breeze too, so it'll be a very good kick if he kicks it from here.
Yeah.
But having said that, he did that at Anglevale a couple of weeks ago from about the same spot.
He did, that's right. So on the left boot, pops it up and it's fading right across, in fact falling short. So no score registered for the Mallala Magpies there. Just the one solitary behind in the first quarter. 2 Wells was 6-4-40. I think all neutral fans are really hoping for a close one, but 2 Wells fans will be really impressed with that first quarter. They sit in the box seat to go to the grand final in 2025. That'll do us for the first quarter. Don't go anywhere. Come back for the second quarter in just a few minutes on Filming Footy. Back at Hamley Bridge Oval, second semi-final for the Adelaide Plains Footy League, and the scores at the moment, you would have just seen them on your screen, 40-1. It's not exactly what Mallala were hoping coming into their first game of the final series here in 2025. My name's Lewis McKenna. I'm joined by Source, who's the reserves coach for Angle Vale. He'll be coaching next week at Balaclava in the preliminary final. But looking at that first quarter there, Two Wells obviously would be very happy, but what do Mallala need to do? I mean, obviously they're not going to make up 39 points in a quarter. They'll have a little bit of an advantage of some breeze here in the second, but what's some little things, little adjustments they can make just to maybe even get this back to a 20-point lead?
Well, I think they need to go a little bit more man on. I think they've let a couple of the Two Wells guys up forward just get a little bit loose, that Rainbrecht especially.
Yeah.
So I'll just go a little bit man on now and sort of slow the game, pace the game down and see if we can move the ball forward into their forward 50 and actually score. Because they didn't have much inside 50 in that last quarter, or the first quarter.
Seems a very negative with their ball movement. There's a lot of bombing down the line, whereas Two Wells are controlling the pace, chipping the ball across, switching whenever they like, and right now...
Which is unusual because that's what Mallala tend to do as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, absolutely they do, but just doing a little better at the moment. Sekafine just pumps a high ball up into the air. Good mark taken, but didn't go the required distance. Humphries. Clements gets the handball out. So a good, genuine opportunity to go inside forward 50 if Slee could have hung on to it. Tiller, extra handball off the boot of Taylor. Tippett needs a clean pick-up. He collected a bit of contact head high, I think, there, but he comes up clutching at his face.
Looked like he got a bit of a knee.
Yeah.
To the forehead there.
So gets knocked down in front. Mallala a real opportunity. If they can just be clean with it. Taylor couldn't quite. Dart, handball out the back of the contest. Ball still in dispute. Taylor's there once again. Binion, as he's tackled over the boundary line by Brad Wilson. So it'll be hurled back in. Olds takes it out of the ruck. Tries to take matters into his own hands and snaps around towards goal, but through for a minor score. They just need to lock it in here, though, Source. It's pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah. While you've got it in your forward 50, make sure you lock it in and score. Pretty much straightforward footy, really.
Yeah, it is. I mean, basic stuff. But when you're up against the Roosters, easier said than done. Harness will go long out of defensive 50 and just look to clear all of that space. Olds is in front, thought he drew a bit of contact over the top. Humphries is there, and off the boot of Olds, it goes out of bounds on the full. So, Sekafine just dobs the ball up to centre wing. Barnett underneath it. May comes crashing over the top. Now dives on top of the ball and gets locked in, centre wing.
It's probably a good matchup there, May and Barnett. A couple of young guns.
Yeah. So, Hennessy. Slattery, the ruckman, picks it out and handballs it over the top. Harris turns around and pumps it back towards forward 50 once again. Gets knocked down in front. Franklin couldn't pick it up. Couldn't quite get any clean possession out there, Morn. Ball still in dispute. Smith's there. Comes out the back of the contest. Heaslip was clean and Slee. So one-on-one here. Hayden comes closing. Taylor did well. Held his position and got to be careful not to kick the ball away. Otherwise it'll be 25, but Taylor gets the free.
Most teams seem to have come out a little bit fumbly this quarter.
Yeah, for sure they have been.
After Two Wells clean first quarter.
So longer down the line. Olds come climbing over the back and potentially was tunnelled a little bit there by Binion, but he's been...
I would have thought he was shepherded out there.
Yeah, I thought he was a little bit there. Binion just held his space. Didn't allow Olds a free jump at the ball, but they've paid the free the other way. So Binion will get the free. Has the option just to chip across short to Dart and does. So just dob a ball up the line and eventually punched over the boundary. So
a bit better defensive structure here by Mallala now.
Yeah, it has been.
See, they've forced Two Wells down the line this time.
Once they kick that first goal, if they can just be the fire starter for them, as Clements and one of the best players all season, not just for Mallala but in the whole league, as Wilson's in a one-on-one. We know the work he can do, breaks out of the tackle, handballs across to Olds. He has a chance on goal but just sprays it. That's not like Cale Olds. So through for a minor score. Not making the most of their opportunities. Olds are 2 behinds here in this second quarter.
I thought Wilson was being held there.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little pull on the Guernsey there, but the umpire obviously missed it. Bit unlucky, to be fair.
So, they'll take their time here, Two Wells. So calm and calculated with it. Harness has Slattery short and wide, but decides to go a little further down the line. Baker's sitting in front of this one off the missed mark. He slipped now to the paint of 50.
Kick.
Yeah, it is a good kick going towards goal. Pops it through. Let the breeze do the work. And the first goal of the afternoon for the Mallala Magpies. It's a really important one. Maybe just trying to keep him in touch there. And he's been a brilliant player all season long, Jack Heaslip. He won a pair of Archie songs a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned before that I burnt him in a handshake. Thank you for my brother for pointing that out on TikTok on one of my vlogs. And I caught up with him last week at Long Plains, and
apologised profusely.
The way it worked is his team saw me walking past the canteen, and I heard, "Oh, Jack," and they absolutely gave it to him. So they made me come in, shake his hand, took a photo of us. So yeah, they got it sorted. And right on cue, he slipped once again out of the middle of the ground. He could have almost had a ping from there with the breeze.
Oh, good tackle.
Yeah,
Olds.
good tackle from Olds. Called for holding the ball. So the Magpies on a bit of a march here back into this game.
See, their energy's just lifted in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes a big difference.
You just see that goal go through. Olds has a bit of a breeze to work with here, but he's been energetic in this second quarter. He's already kicked a couple behinds, like we mentioned. So he'll have a crack from distance.
Well, he does lead by from the front.
So has the distance covered. Absolutely he did. Brilliant goal there for Mallala. Another one put through. So starting to tighten this one up. I just mentioned at quarter time there to your source that it's not about necessarily drawing level at half time, but getting it within 20, and they've started this one really positive.
Yeah, you can see the body language has changed with all the Mallala boys too. A little bit up and about now, which wasn't how they started the quarter, but just a couple of little things gone their way, and all of a sudden, energy's higher.
Absolutely it is. So, back to 25 points. Got a bit of momentum as Thompson just goes whack out of the ruck. Hops it out in front, and May, leading his way to the footy, gets hunted down by Wise. So many stars. Some of the best players in the APFL out here as Tiller breaks through the contest, pops it on his boot. Positive ball movement here from Mallala, but intercepted. Harness will go through the middle of the ground, trying to find a target up forward. Warnicky picks it up, gets quickly tackled by Heaslip. So right near the paint of 50, it'll be hurled back up once more. Thompson really battling in the ruck here, just trying to surge it forward. Try to get it to Eckerman. Humphreys is hunted down. Rainbreak handballs it across. Sekafine picked up in a tackle by Clements. So the pressure's higher here from the Magpies.
Yeah, they've definitely lifted the intensity in the last couple of minutes as well. So those 2 goals hit the board.
Both offensively and defensively is not able to take the mark was Nauman, but good second effort. Taylor chips it across and puts it out in front of King. Got a bad bounce. Harness moves it across. They give it to Olds though, and now Dale King composed himself in front of goals, but just sprays it across for the second time for Dale King. Had an opportunity in front of goals and couldn't convert.
Again, more time than he probably realised. Sometimes in finals footy, that perceived pressure's there.
Yep.
Some blokes just don't handle it too well.
Dale King has been a mainstay of this side for some time. He was a 2013-2020 premiership player for Mallala. He's been around a long time. He understands that finals pressure, but just missed on his opportunity. But Mallala still coming back into this one. Positive ball movement going inside as Slattery out the back of the contest gets tackled by Olds. Ball spills free. Harris gets the handball out and Slattery goes further down the line. Out the back, and now Clements chips a ball into the middle of the ground, and Hennessy can get to work. Goes long and strong inside forward 50, and a little too strong over the head of Wilson. So Harness, who's been really impressive out of the back line for 2 Wells, takes the mark. So chipping ball, and mark's taken by Barnett. It's Noah Barnett. So he'll switch across once more. Harness. Has Devlin short, but decides to go a little longer down the line to a one-on-one. Slattery and Olds, and well done to take the mark, because if he spilled that, Olds had a bit of room. Chips the ball over the top. Dart.
Very unusual to see two Wells playing this way, just chipping down the line. It's not their normal game plan, but that's worked for them now, just getting over that last contest.
So Harris with a chance to go inside forward 50. Long ball. Looking for Edmead to run at the ball. May was sitting underneath it, couldn't quite take the mark, and he gets slung to the ground. Bit slow to get up there, Jack May, the vice-captain for Mallala. So deep in the forward 50 here for two Wells. Slattery gets the handball out. Warnicky had a chance if he can compose himself, but May clears. Marked by Smith. Pops it on his boot straight away towards goal. And sitting underneath it. I think taking the mark there was Whittlesey.
Look like it.
Yeah, did hang on to it. So this is how they set up. Interesting to watch all these players here in front of the footy for two Wells, the way they set up. They look for Olds though. Just shove Slattery out of the way. Olds moves the handball out wide. Barnett picks it up, tries the tunnel handball underneath, and Smith now looks to play on, goes close to goal. A little too long out the back of the contest once again, and they chip the ball over. So King now composes himself well, breaks through a tackle, tries to move it out through Eckerman, but he's now being hunted down. And well done there by Eckerman to tackle and not allow that ball to go anywhere. He was outnumbered. So just inside the paint of 50, it'll be hurled back up once more.
Unusual skill error there from Eckerman. He had the ball in his hand, just dropped it.
Yeah.
Very unusual from him.
Slattery knocks it straight down to Tiller, but not going anywhere. So just this game, the momentum has just plateaued a little bit in the last few minutes. Plateau, does that count as one of my words?
I like it.
Yeah, cool. All right, I'm in the zone. So Thompson rips it out of the ruck. Handball over the top. Now a bit of space. Harris snapping around his body towards goal. Edmead tried to get it on his boot. I think he did get it on his boot, but threw for a minor score. So
I'm just going to write them down. I'm writing your words down for the day.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I can't even remember what the first one was.
Auspicious.
Oh, brilliant. There we go. Sometimes I'm pulling things out of my vocabulary I don't even know I have. And for someone that failed Year 10 English, I'm doing all right. So a little further down the line.
Well, so far you've used them in context, so...
No, that's right.
You're going well. You're going very well.
Yeah, that's right. Turnbull. Franklin getting a little hat kick out. Warnicky, Smith, back inside forward 50. Dangerous ball. Slattery not able to take the mark. Spinning through and getting a handball out. Slattery another extra one. Wise dancing his way through the contest. Tries to snap around towards goal. Gets smothered. And Mallala try and clear once again.
Good pressure from the Mallala deep defence.
Absolutely. They've thwarted them away a little bit. So, through the middle of the ground. Trying to find something. Pellizzari taking the intercept mark. Just outside 50. They'll look to get further inside. Contest forming here. Edmead picks it off the pack. Gets tackled by Eckerman. Loses the ball, and that should be a free kick. And is. So, brilliant work by Eckerman. Caleb Edmead. Brilliant player, of course. We mentioned former Samford player as well. A lot of Samford players getting around this one. Olds out the back of the contest. Handball over the top. Nauman's there, but Hayden intercepts. Go down the line. Trevor pops it on his left boot. Out the back, and a bit of a foot race to the ball. They're coming from both directions. Wilson's there. Harness out the back of the contest. Just pops a handball out in front of himself, and it was pretty smart to do so. And a brilliant kick to the outer side. Sean Smith working his way up at the footy. One of those players that's been with the Roosters for a few years. It's Harness. Wasn't a good kick from Smith. Gets hunted down. Oh, Maybe could have been called holding the ball there. Hunted down by Toby Morn.
That's a bit unlucky. I thought that was holding the ball. Had plenty of time to get rid of it.
So umpire waits for the ruckman to arrive. Thompson knocks it down. Rainbreck with a couple first quarter goals. Was trying to break through there was Dale King, and eventually over the boundary line, and they're arguing there was a handball there coming from Dale King. I think there was enough people around that it could have come off contact, but
I don't think so.
they'll say there that Rainbreck will get the free. So, called to play on. Rainbreck will go long down the line. Mays underneath it. Comes out the back, and the Magpies will now move it through Baker. Trying to slip through. Extra handball. Eckerman, they've done that well, the Magpies. They get out the back of the contest. A little too strong. Harness couldn't take the mark. Thompson now has to compose himself, and that is a brilliant kick across the ground to Hayden. Dart, and they switch so effortlessly.
This is
Binion.
what you normally see from two wells, which I haven't done too much today, but
Well, when you can have so many tricks in your bag, you learnt a little bit. 4 premierships in a row, looking for your 5th as they go inside forward 50. Another mark taken, so a chance to respond here through Sean Smith.
and that's the thing, you allow them to get out on that fat side and they just get that easy forward entry the way they transition that ball and move it sideways. You can't let them do it. And they have, up till now, Mallala have been really good defensively and haven't allowed them to do it. But you see, that's how easy they move the ball forward.
Sean Smith started the season in 2025 in Dimboola, playing just the one solitary game in the Wimmera League. Pops through a goal. So they respond there 2 wells. It had been a bit of an arm wrestle the last 10 minutes of this game, with Mallala kicking the first 2 of the second quarter. But on the Sportal scoreboard now, they extended out 7-5-47 to 2-4-16.
Bit of a steadier for them. They needed that because Mallala's defence have been really, really good this quarter. So they had to do something different, and
Absolutely.
they did.
Yeah, just a breakthrough. So now move out to a 31-point margin. Comfortable, but Mallala still playing with some positivity at the moment. If they can just kick a goal or 2 here in the second quarter, they'll go into the rooms at half-time with a little bit more confidence as Heaslip takes the mark. A little too far from home, so Dobbs one inside forward 50, just at the shoelaces of Brad Wilson as Slattery knocks it over the boundary line.
They just haven't quite put it in the right spot for him. A lot of the balls he's receiving are just at his feet, which no forward loves that.
So, watching the way that 2 wells have got this set up as well, they have got this covered perfectly. They've got Pellizzari 20 metres out the back as Tiller takes it, a little bit of room, can roll into goal, but pulls it across through for a minor score. They just don't get sucked into the contest there, 2 wells, and that's got to make it hard for the likes of Wilson, who's trying to give himself some space as the key target up forward. He's got nowhere to go. They're covering all parts of the ground. So now back to a 30-point margin. So Hayden on the outer side as we get a chance to thank our streaming partners as well. Dartfish, of course, the Sportal scoreboard. Chip the ball across the Slattery. Classic clashes. Filming Footy, of course, you're watching live and free on Filming Footy. The player of the game will receive a beanie custom by ORTC and some Archie's thongs. High Five e-bikes and the Kimberley Accommodation Group. So thank you to those guys for making this stream possible, of course, as well as the league and club sponsors for doing all their things as well. So Sekafine, neutral territory, bombs it long inside forward 50. Ed Mead underneath this one. Barnett roves it well, snaps around towards goal but pulls it right across. So Mallala will get the ball back here. So Thorne looks to play on quickly through King. Go a little longer down the line. Pellizzari did well to take the mark over Mead though. So back inside forward 50 once again, and Ed Mead takes the mark. Just had Olds wrong-footed. In fact, that was Tiller wrong-footed. And he gets a fairly easy set shot at goals. Just that pressure's dropped off a little bit from the Magpies in the last couple of minutes.
And you can see, as soon as you drop off the pressure, you just allow 2 wells to do what they do.
So, Caleb Edmeade, we mentioned before, 1 goal already in this game. Pops it towards goal, but just pulls it across through for a minor score. Played 13 games this year for 47 goals. Be aiming to kick his 49th and 50th at some point this afternoon, but more importantly, get the win. So back to 31 points for the Roosters on the Sportal scoreboard. This is second quarter. Not too far away. About 20 minutes gone. Nauman. So Mallala looking to just compose themselves. A little bit of uncontested footy. It's a good kick into the middle of the ground. Clements climbing through. They move it through hand. Hennessy a little further out wide. Lorne inside forward 50. Trevor's underneath it. Couldn't quite judge the flight of the footy. Knocks it down in front of Wilson. Needs to compose himself. Handballs it inside. Clements on the outside of the boot. Snaps it towards goal and through. Brilliant work from the Magpies. They respond.
Just what they needed. Perfectly timed. You see they ran in numbers well there.
Absolutely.
Force the ball forward.
It was end to end. They were able to get it end to end. They took off a risky ball through the middle of the ground. Clements committed his body to it.
It was a good contest that needed to happen.
Absolutely it was. It's finals footy at its best. So their third goal of this second quarter, they stay in touch. And I think it's that magic mark maybe of what I mentioned, that they look like if they can kick one more goal, they cut that lead that they had it. They were down by 39 points at quarter time. They can cut it in half, get it inside of 20, gives them something to work with as Hennessy, King, over the top. Nauman needs to run onto it, didn't get a good bounce. Tiller's there as well. Sekafine gets the handball out and call for the throw, so the Magpies should go back inside forward 50 once again. Had he slipped short, pops it up in front of Wilson to get a run and jump at it. Only had to one arm at it. Humphreys, though, out of defensive 50. Longer down the line and taking the mark is Smith. Chipping ball up and Slattery. So Slattery goes long, inside forward 50. Ball in dispute here, chance. Snapping around the body towards goal. He's put it through, so they respond straight away through Blake Harris. And that's what they'll do to you, the Roosters. Mallala feel like they had their tails up, and straight away the Roosters respond and put through an important goal just to extend it out once again to 31 points on the Sportal scoreboard.
You see, they just had that little bit of time and space again, 2 wells, and then that's what they do to you. You just cannot, at any stage, take the intensity off.
Absolutely.
It has to be 4 quarters, because they do handle the pressure really well. 2 wells, there's been sides that have pushed them for 3 quarters. Every season they have it, and then that last quarter, they just tend to be able to put the foot down, and intensity's gone out of the game, and they just lift. It's no different here. They just bide their time.
So
And wait for the right opportunity.
Yeah, you're spot on, Sauce. They do it so well. There's Olds in the dust bowl in the middle of Hamley Bridge. Out the back, Wilson nearly taking the mark, but the composed head of Hayden will clear. Pops a short ball up out in front of Humphreys. So a couple of the veterans that have been with the Roosters for so long. Humphreys a little short ball, Barnett. So arguing here the Mallala contingency in front of us, saying that didn't go far enough.
They're probably right. I don't reckon it did either.
I think they might be right, to be
10
honest.
metre kick, if that.
So, Slattery. Final few minutes important here as Hayden just taking the mark, but called to play on, not far enough that time, so maybe those Mallala fans got in the heads of the umpires. Wise looks to play on quickly, back inside forward 50, looking for the leapers up at the footy. Edmeade was underneath that one. Tiller did well to bring it to ground, and once again it'll be held back up. So, really don't want to give one away here, the Magpies. Two Wells will be hunting. Got their tails up. Edmeade out of the contest. If you don't mind, Caleb Edmeade straight onto the boot. Puts it through for a goal. And they are...
Now?
That would be his 49th, so rolling towards 50 at the moment and continues to grow that margin out. So for all of Mallala's hard work here in the second quarter source, it's nearly at that same margin. It was at a quarter time.
They don't have too many opportunities to hurt you.
No, they don't at all.
They finish off really well.
So Edmead putting it through once again, proving why he's one of the best players in this competition. Converts on yet another goal. So becomes the third player for the Roosters with multiple goals in this one. Edmead with 2, Sekafine with 2, Rainbreak with a couple as well. Smith, Thompson and Harris with 1 apiece. Goal scorers so far for Mallala, Heaslip, Olds and Clements. Thompson thumps it out. Humphrey sitting underneath it, almost like a set play from the Roosters there. Knew exactly where it was going to be. Barnett chips the ball inside forward 50. May intercepts. Goes a little further out wide. Trevor. Did well though, Devlin, just to bring the ball to ground and wrapped up centre wing. So once again, Olds over the top. Tries to knock it down in front of Clements. Didn't get a kind bounce. And now, I think that was Mead trying to rip his way through, and should be a 25 metre as well, so...
Bit of lip there.
Yeah. So, chance to go inside forward 50 here, and not a huge 25, but maybe just outside his range. Doesn't look super confident. So, I'll pop it up towards goal. Wait for the leapers at this one. Hennessy underneath, couldn't quite pull it down. Humphreys is there. Players on the ground here yet to get up. King trying to spin his way through. Baker with a bit of pressure closing. Smith tackled him. Got the handball out. Turnbull, the ruckman, did well to compose himself. And Barnett clears. Goes close to the boundary. And the boundary umpire confirms that it's Mallala's ball. Had a bit of pressure on him, the young fella from the Mallala supporters. So Heaslip kicked a goal earlier. Pops one up. Waits for the leapers. He floated in mid-air to Clements. Takes the mark straight in front, and this will be a really important goal for Mallala if he's to convert.
It was all almost slow motion, that.
Wasn't it? He just floated, picked it out of the clouds. So
we'll back him.
Absolutely. We back anyone from this position, you'd think. Man on the mark, about 25 metres. Straight in front. Has to contend with a little bit of a breeze, but it's mostly across from his left, on its way.
Ooh.
And he has put it through. So Jordan Clements responds here in the first half. He's had a brilliant quarter, it must be said as well. A couple goals for him. So brings it back down to 31 points on the Sportal scoreboard. Has been a far more positive quarter from the Mallala Magpies, and he's the first multiple goal scorer. He's had 11 games so far this season in the best players. He's kicked 13 goals coming into this one, so 15 now with his 2 in this quarter, but he's a brilliant player, Jordan Clements.
Yeah, definitely. Big handy pickup for Mallala this season. I'm just noticing that I reckon Mallala have had the best of the centre clearances this quarter.
Yeah,
we've been marking it down, but just from watching the game, I'm pretty sure they've had a really good quarter.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say they've probably had bulk of the possession, and definitely the clearances out of stoppage all the way around the ground. But as you mentioned a moment ago, the Roosters don't need much of an opportunity to convert inside their forward 50, especially with their star-studded forward line. So ball in dispute here, middle of the ground. Thompson's there, quickly wrapped up in a tackle. Eventually got it out the back. Heaslip not allowed to go anywhere by Barnett. Slings him to the ground afterwards. So siren wouldn't be too far away.
Oh, there it is.
How about that? I swear the timekeeper is over the other side of the ground, but we've got some sort of telepathy going on. So, middle of the ground, you like telepathy. You're writing that down. So, half-time. Really entertaining quarter. Of course, the scoreline doesn't exactly explain the timeline of events here at Hamley Bridge Oval, but qualifying final, semi-final 2 as it's officially called here for the Adelaide Plains Footy League. We're going to go to a break. We'll have the second half coming right up after this for Filming Footy. Back here at Hamley Bridge Oval, second half about to get underway, and of course you can see the scoreline there on your screen for the Two Wells versus Mallala second semi-final, and 9-6-60 to 4-5-29. My name's Lewis McKenna. Of course we've got Source special comments as well, and interesting, if you have just joined us late in this one and haven't had a chance to scrub back and exactly see what's happened, it was an onslaught from Two Wells in the first quarter, and then Mallala started to come back into it in that second.
Yes, yeah, much better quarter by Mallala, but you see they had those couple of moments where they switched off a little bit and just allowed Two Wells to move forward too easy.
Yeah.
And then, as Two Wells do, they just capitalised, which extended their lead back out. So it's one of those things with Two Wells, you just you can't take your foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
You have to be, it's got to be pressure footy for 4 quarters, otherwise this is what they do. They just hold their medal, you know. They just absorb the pressure, and then as soon as there's an opening or a lack of, drop off of intensity, bang, away they go. For
sure. These are two sides that are not used to losing. I mean, Mallala got off to a bit of a slow start in the season, I guess it must be said. I think they were 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses in their first month, and then they really tidied it up. They won 11 of their last 12 games. Of course, Two Wells are undefeated, so they definitely are not used to losing. And Mallala, obviously wouldn't have had too many of these situations where they're down by a significant margin at half time, but there are a few things they need to adjust going into this second half. I think they've kept some of the absolute stars for Two Wells quiet. I think we spoke at the start about how they're going to contain the likes of Jacob Thompson, how they're going to look after the likes of Luke Barnett, but I think they've done that fairly well. The problem is that Two Wells have so many more players that can impact the game.
Yeah, well, that's it. They don't have a weakness. So, yeah, you can shut down those couple of players, but they've got another 18 backing them. So, absolutely. And I think Mallala only got off to a slow start at the start of the year because of a change of coach.
Yeah,
they brought somebody in from outside the club for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
So they've been used to playing a certain game plan for so long. So I think it was just bit of an adjustment period early on, and once they got going and got the game plan under wraps, they got that streak on with 11 wins, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely, and the only loss in that 12-game streak coming against Two Wells by 2 goals. They've certainly proven they're a team in the Adelaide Plains Footy League that can win and can beat anyone on their day, but unfortunately their first quarter wasn't their best footy, but still with a half to play here, if they're able to eat a little bit into that margin as they did in the second quarter, then who knows what can happen here at Hamley Bridge Oval. Both teams back into the middle. Of course, we've got to talk about our Archie's Thongs player of the game. They'll win a pair of Archie's Thongs and, of course, a custom by ORTC beanie. Anyone standing out to you, Source? We did have a brief chat about it. Harness was standing out to me in the back line for Two Wells in the first quarter, but I feel like as the game's gone on, there's been opened up a little bit more to some other players. Yeah,
Tiller from Mallala has got his hands on the footy a fair bit.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how they go this quarter. Again, Two Wells going with a breeze. See if they adjust the way they did things from the first quarter to this quarter now. See if they can hold, as you said, hold Two Wells to not much and maybe peg back a couple themselves.
So important quarter here. They call it the premiership quarter for a reason. Two Wells will be wanting to put Mallala to sleep in this quarter, and Mallala want to be keeping the game alive. Just trimming it down, but Pellizzari intercepts here centre wing. Snapping around the body. King comes crashing through. Taylor whacks it on his boot and dribbles it inside forward 50. Harness does well to trap it. Pellizzari quickly on his boot and to the outer side, but trickling over. So last touch will be a free kick here to the Magpies.
Do you want us to kill you?
So long down the line. Back inside forward 50. And getting shoved in the back there was Wilson. Maybe given a free kick, but in fact a mark to Hayden. So umpire didn't quite pick up on that one.
I think they've just got to give Brad Wilson a little bit better delivery.
For sure.
Bring him in the game and you know what he can do.
So long down the line and standing in front to take the mark is Clements. In fact, that's Morn. So once again, they pump it back inside forward 50. They were looking for Wilson. Thompson roves it down in front. Hayden, and they retreat once again too well. So a little bit of deja vu to start the third quarter here. Pellizzari going inside forward 50, over both hands and a foot race to the ball now. Whittlesey will get there first and just has to be clean and composed to get it across to Baker, who's good enough to take the mark. So short ball into the corridor, weighted well to King. King will go a little wider, one-on-one. They like the look of Baker out the back, has to go up against Humphreys. Did well there, Baker. Got the hands off to May. May breaks through a tackle. Extra handball, now the Magpies can get to work. Nauman, short ball, looking for Clements, goes over both of their heads. Dark couldn't get to it either. Harness is there. They intercept once again, the Roosters, and retreat. Barnett, bit of space to go back inside forward 50. High ball, pops it out in front of Edmead, come off hands. And called for hanging on. Either he's paid the mark.
No, he's called for hanging on.
He has called for hanging on, so free kick being paid there. So just hanging on to him there, Edmead. So he'll get a chance in front of goal. Caleb Edmead, 47 on the season coming into this one. This one for number 50. Puts it through. Half a ton for Caleb Edmead on the season. Brilliant player he is. 2 wells off to a ripping start in this third quarter. So there was some confusion there about whether it was paid a mark or not, but it was absolutely called for a bit of contact on the arm, and rightfully so. So out to a 37-point margin there. He's been one that's probably stood out. We talk about player of the game. They've targeted him a lot, Edmead, out of full forward, and he's done his job incredibly well, as he does every week. So in front, King finds a bit of room, rolls inside forward 50, leaves it a bit wide for Heaslip, who has to try and get a hand on it, and did well enough to do so. So to be hurled back in. This is about their 5th inside 50 already source for the quarter, as it comes straight back out. They cut me off before I was about to say it's come back out every time. The defence is holding up so well at the moment. There's a good weighted ball over the top to King. Short ball over, and Morn has to run onto it, as does Heaslip. In fact, Trevor. So extra handball. And Morn quickly wrapped up in a Devlin tackle and paid for holding the ball, centre wing.
They made no attempt to get rid of it. That's definitely holding the ball.
No, for sure. You could argue maybe there wasn't a lot of time to get rid of it, but when you make no attempt, you give the umpire no choice. So, Devlin, further down the line.
Oh,
good
Jack
mark.
May.
Yeah, brilliant mark, Jack May. I know he's one of your favourite sources. A few times we've called him. You've mentioned how good of a player he is, and brilliant off a halfback, of course, the vice captain. So a little further wide, and just marking it inside the boundary line is Mead. So chips a ball down the wing. Good kick and a good mark to Olds. Looks to go quickly inside forward 50. One-on-one contest out the back. Clements is there, and doing well was Binion to knock it over the boundary line.
Just putting on their teammate's head instead of just out in front.
Yeah.
So that's why they're getting jumped over. And then
Well,
2 wells tend to have numbers at the fall of the ball in defensive 50, so they're always going to be turning the ball over there. Give your teammates a chance, put it out in front of them.
Unsure if that's our man down in the boundary. I've got to give him a shout out because I, as you've mentioned before, Sauce, I don't like to plug myself. I got some vlogs I do on the games that I commentate.
Yes.
As quickly hacked out here, through for a goal. Interrupted me there, Nauman, but he's put through a goal. So an important one there for Mallala. Puts it through and converts on an opportunity. But yeah, I do those little vlogs, and
Yes,
I did have someone comment on one of the videos yesterday, a young fella named Curtis Clifton, that says, give me a shout out on the call because I'm doing the boundary and the A grade.
Very good.
So one of them, I'm not exactly sure who he is, he might have just hurled that one in there, but
Is it this young fella over here, or is it the one on the other corner?
Don't know, but Curtis, when you're watching the game back, g'day mate, good job, well done for helping out local footy. And a goal there for Mallala, so they return the favour on 2 Ls. So out of the middle, couldn't quite clear it out there, and in the dust bowl you can see all the dirt flicking up. I actually went and had a quick squiz at half time, just because, of course, this is the 4th game here this afternoon, as is always the case in the Adelaide Plains Footy League, and just very dusty there in the middle as Taylor's quickly wrapped up in a Sekafine tackle. So they quickly try and clear it out through Thompson. Risky ball into the middle of the ground. Mead was there, couldn't quite take it. Nauman once again ripping the ball away, but just pops one out into space a little wider. Taylor running onto the footy. Hayden goes crashing down behind the play. Has a bit of room to pop it inside forward 50. Once again, it's on top of their heads and not really giving a chance to lead up with the footy. Intercept mark to Binion. Humphries longer down the line. Sekafine.
He's been good today as well.
Yeah, Sekafine's been really good.
He's had a fair bit of the footy.
Amazing first quarter as well. So longer down the line. Contest forming. Warnicky couldn't quite take the mark. Wise trying to keep it alive. May does exactly that. Chips the ball across and Clements takes the mark.
Pretty sure Harry Slee was being held by the shorts in that previous contest.
So Taylor grubs one almost off the sole of his shoe. Stays live though. Taylor once again back onto it. Does well to get the handball out. So Wilson a little further from home than he'd like to be. Gets smothered and intercepted. Moving the ball through hand through the middle of the ground. Now back inside forward 50. He slipped with the close down tackle and another brilliant mark to May. He's been fantastic in this third quarter. And good ball to Slee. Chips the ball out wide. Harness intercepting. So not exactly the kick they'd want out of defensive 50, the Magpies. Slattery. So whether they decide to keep switching or go down the middle of the ground, goes with the latter. Through the middle, Wise couldn't quite get his hands to it, so just knocks it down in front. Handball out the back, Baker tries to fend off Humphries. He's quickly pumped to the ground, should be holding the ball and is.
Yeah, he tried the old fend off, didn't work for him.
Humphries looking to play on, dancing around, gets it off to Wise, who has a ton of room, bending it around his body towards goal. Goes near the goalpost. I wasn't going to call it a behind until seeing the umpire signal one. I made that mistake before, but is a behind this time. So 32 points in front of the Roosters.
Sun's really beaming out now.
Yeah, clouds have dissipated a little bit. I did that one intentionally that time. Source likes my vocabulary if you've joined us late. He's writing down another word I've gone with. Thorn through the middle of the ground. Extra handball over the top. Humphries is there. Gets crunched in a tackle by Clements. Whittlesey couldn't get it away. Sekafine trying to stand up through the tackle and gets set upon by a flock of magpies.
Absolutely mobbed.
Mobbed would be the right term when you're talking about magpies.
Correct.
Sure.
Said that for a reason.
Rainbrecht. Brilliant. We love it. We love being...
I did pass year 12 English.
There we go. So Smith rolling towards goal. Couldn't quite convert. Look, it wasn't for a lack of knowledge. It was a lack of trying, Source. So
I understand.
I know where I'd rather be, and that's in a commentary seat. Calling the great game of footy. So 33 points in front now.
Do you want me to keep pumping up your tyres? Do you want me to agree with you, saying, yeah, you're doing a great job?
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
You are, mate, you are.
Yeah, thank you, yeah, appreciate that. So, longer down the line, May comes crashing through over the pack, thumping it into the signage here right in front of the commentary truck. I'm sure you would have caught all the effects of that in the microphone. So, to hurl it back in right in front of us here is, I think he's got his whistle stuck on his fingers, but eventually... It's hurled in. Falls a little short. Thompson gets the advantage to pop it out in front of Barnett and just 10 metres away from where it was. To be hurled back in once again. Giving the boundary umpire a bit of stick here. The Mallala faithful. Thompson knocks it down in front. Barnett. Wise couldn't quite pick it up. Barnett's there once again and free kick for holding on to the leg. So Wise gets the free kick. So Wise. Long ball. Switches to the outer side. Slattery underneath. Edmead crashing through. Comes down in front. Barnett's there. Couldn't get clean possession. Warnicky goes towards goal and just thumps into the post. So another minor score on the Sportal scoreboard.
I reckon if Mallala can just steady here and squeeze a couple of goals and keep 2 Wells scoreless for the rest of the quarter, anything can happen in this last quarter.
Yeah, I think so. They've got the talent. They just haven't really reached that level of momentum they've been used to, Mallala. Of course, they're coming up against the best in the competition as two
friendly
bodies.
fire.
Yeah, I think that was Warnicky and Sekafine just crashing into each other.
It didn't sound good from here.
No, it did not. Players everywhere. We've got another Mallala player in Tiller also caught up in the contest. So Warnicky and Sekafine absolutely crunching together. And look at Sekafine back in the contest once again. Hennessy dribbles one out. They have to get a hand on it. And they scored it over the boundary line. So some sore bodies after that one.
Usually when that happens and it's teammates, you tend to get up from it.
Yeah. You milk it a bit longer if it's someone else.
Correct.
Hennessy down in front. Rainbreak. A couple of long bombs in the first quarter. Inside forward 50. Smith ran under the footy. Out the back here, Slattery's trying to pick it up. Tunnels it under his legs.
Eckerman probably unlucky not to get a free kick in that last contest.
Underneath it, Hennessy. Pain of 50. Sekafine handball out. Smith just had to hit the handball there to Franklin. May comes crashing through. Tiller maybe got a bit of contact around the head. Nothing called. Barnett can compose himself towards goal. On its way, and once again,
poster.
It's into that same post that it hit just a moment ago, halfway up. So another behind. They keep peppering it along. It's 5 behinds in a row here to 2 Wells. So now 35 points in front. 10-10-70 plays 5-5-35. Time becoming a factor in this game for Mallala. They want to eat into this contest. A little longer down the line. Baker underneath it. Franklin did well. May running out of room. So it's a handball into the corridor. Hayden crashing through the contest. Taylor's there as well. Throws him away. May, Tiller quickly wrapped up. So
Not sure why Hayden didn't get a free kick there. He just got slung in a tackle. He didn't even have the ball.
Sure.
Just got thrown out the way, but umpire missed it, obviously.
Rainbreak. Tiller. Bit of room. Send a ball up centre wing, but not to the advantage of Wilson. Had a little bit more time, Tiller, to maybe compose himself. And what, like you've been saying, hit up a lead. Franklin.
It's been good off the ground on those ground balls, Tiller, today.
Yeah.
Been really impressed with him around the packs.
So further down the line, Clements in front, couldn't take the mark. Warnicky's got himself back up after that contest earlier. Goes with a 1-2 with Hayden.
Great hit.
Inside forward 50. It was perfect. It was on a platter. He gets it back from him instead. Towards goal. Sekafine as quickly as you like pops it on the boot. So some of the stars for 2 Wells, and geez, they can get it in there quickly and convert.
Yeah, just that real short one step give while they've got momentum moving the ball forward. It's always the best way to do it. Instead of holding on to it too long and try and dance and weave, just do the team thing. First give, create space for your teammates.
So the third goal for Sekafine, he's only had 8 on the season coming into this one, so he's had a day out in front of the sticks. 3 goals is awesome work from him.
Has he just moved back up to the top of the list for the Archie Slums and filming footy beanie?
Yeah, absolutely. I reckon he's close. He's been brilliant in this game. So, out the back of the contest, Barnett, Hayden. Will come a little closer to the boundary here. Waterboy completely unaware to what's going on behind him, but eventually comes over. Handball out the back, Baker. Did well. King just has to pop it on the boot with some players closing. Olds knocks it down in front. Nauman, handball into the corridor. Tiller, that's Olds there now in fact, so flicks it out through Eckerman. Fumbles the ball. King's there to save the day, and through the middle of the ground. Pops up a kick out into space, but it wasn't perfectly executed. Slattery now hunting the footy, just charging through the contest.
Good hip and shoulder.
Eckerman just cleans him up. Was a clean hip and shoulder as well.
You don't see it often in the game anymore, but that was perfectly executed.
Yeah. Keep the bump alive. Zach Eckerman just absolutely cleaning up the contest as Nauman picked it up and was slung around by Turnbull. Did well effectively as well to win the free kick. So, wise.
To his credit, Slattery got up pretty much straight away.
Absolutely he did.
Brushed himself off. Way you go.
Another big hip and shoulder from Eckerman on Franklin this time. Warnicky inside forward 50. One-on-one. Dangerous because Edmead will take the mark. Tiller's got a task ahead of him. And he gets another set shot right in front of goal. And all of a sudden, that last goal from Sekafine, in fact, was actually brings it out to a game-high margin of 41 points. This to extend it out once again, Source.
Yeah, I can't see Caleb missing from here. Doesn't miss these. Not from 25 out.
Now Caleb Edmead once again popping it through, straight through the sticks. Out to a 47-point advantage. The Roosters looking like they're going to go marching into another grand final in the APFL. Out to a 47-point margin. Just been absolutely enormous. His fourth goal of the afternoon, Caleb Edmead. And it's obviously...
I'm going to give you that one.
What's that one?
Enormous.
Enormous. That's not
Still
reaching...
it's an 8-letter word.
Yeah, that's
you know,
it. Not reaching too far into my bag with that one.
No,
Source,
I know
but,
you're not, but you know the other 8-letter words you've used.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah.
Suspicious is 10.
Yeah,
Plateau
there you go.
is
Yeah.
8. Oh no, 7.
Yeah.
Telepathy 9.
Yeah. You're a fan of a good word, it seems. Source.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So
I love hearing it from others because you know your generation
no
don't
good
tend
with
to
it?
know words
No
very
good with
well.
it. Yeah. Okay, there you go. So
Someone my age, old school, I like hearing it from you young blokes.
that's good. Glad I can represent us millennials well.
And you're doing very well at it.
So, Nauman,
Are you a millennial?
97. What does that make me?
Oh yeah,
Hayden, I think I'm right on the
right on the cusp.
on the precipice
Oh,
of the
here we-
generations. I've set that up for you. So, the tackle on the outer side. It looks like Franklin's going to be given a free kick. Unfortunately, with a 47-point ball game, we have to come up with a little bit of our own content. So, the Roosters chip a ball over the top. No discredit here to the Roosters. They are turning it on. Smith, a long ball inside forward 50. Barnett had the advantage out the back, still running onto the footy. Leaves it for Humphries, snaps around his body. Across the face, once again, Edmead nearly taking the mark and trickling over the boundary. So, to be held back in once again. Brilliant throw in there from the boundary umpire as well. Gets knocked down in front, Nauman onto the footy. Quickly tackled by Rainbrecht.
Yeah, I don't reckon you're breaking through too many tackles from that lad.
No, he's been
Solid.
brilliant. So, top of the goal square. Knocked down in front. Barnett a bit of space around his body. As quick as you like. Brilliant. Just the time it took to pick the ball up straight onto his boot. And Mallala, this is a bit of a procession at the moment. 53
they've had a lot
points
of
in front.
inside 50s this quarter, 2 wells.
Yeah.
And they've pretty much scored every time they've gone in. And that's all it takes. You know, just they get a bit of a flow on and
Yeah.
all of a sudden they hurt you with 6 goals out of nowhere. You don't even realise you've been belted.
Yeah.
It's just so clinical.
Clinical is right. They really turned it on. Barnett's one of those players. He was a league and zone representative as well.
Yep.
Represented Central Zone. He's an amazing player that can kind of go and play. He's won 5 premierships with the 2 Wells Roosters, of course, starting from 2018 and then the 4 recent years as well, looking for a 5-peat. Something not many clubs can say they've done, not just in South Australian footy, but all around the country. Is the Magpies, if they want a miracle to happen, it needs to start now. Clements gets bowled over. No free kick paid. Hayden on the outer side. So now a handball through. Humphries did well on the second pickup. Back inside forward 50. Edmead leading up at the footy. Tiller did well that time. Warnicky, though, with all the space into the post once again.
That's 4 posters in a quarter.
It's incredible.
At least they hit the opposite post this time.
That's right, just to switch it up a little bit. So, still growing the margin out, though, on the Sportal scoreboard. 54 points now There's now the Magpies on the outer side as we get a chance to thank our APFL partners as well, of course, sponsoring the Adelaide Plains Footy League, Viswater, Sports Power, Zorich Group, Sharon, Belgravia Apparel, Synergy Signs, Mango Inc., McCracken Ford, Balaclava, and the Plains Producer. As Turnbull goes inside forward 50, Barnett once again sitting underneath it. Now another chance, snapping around the body and through for a goal. Two Wells once again converting on an opportunity. That's going to be credited to Lachlan Franklin. And they just keep turning it on. Now out by 10 goals, Source. Just incredible.
This is what happens. It's just bang. They did this to us last year in the grand final, in the A-grade grand final here. Yep. It was even at half time, and then by three-quarter time, Angawar were 10 goals down. It's just crazy.
So they convert on another one, and a few of their players converting that don't really kick too many goals. I mentioned Sekafine, 8 goals on the season, has kicked 3 here this afternoon. Franklin pops that one through, just his second of the season.
Yep.
So a few others getting involved in the party now. Just a little bit of a confidence booster, really. Before 2 weeks' time, they may play Mallala again, or they may come up against the Hummocks Watchman Eagles, depending who wins next week at Balaclava in the preliminary final. So Thompson grabs it out of the ruck, sends it back inside. Wise just tries to balk out of a tackle. He gets wrapped up and should be called holding the ball, and is. So Slee, he's been busy out of the defensive 50 for Mallala, as all of the Mallala defenders have had a pretty tough task. Chips the ball into the corridor to Olds. Tries to bite off a little 45-degree kick. Still with it here, though, the Magpies. Slee, handballs backwards. Olds now works his way onto the footy. Handball over to the top to Heaslip, and a little short ball is good. So Toby Morn does well to get around Hayden. Tiller stops, props, and puts it towards goal. Long high ball, top of the goal square. Binion's there. Riley Thorne as well. Close to goal as Hennessy got a boot on it. No, touched. So through for a minor score. So on the Sportal scoreboard now, 95-36. Humphreys. A little longer down the line. Barnett underneath this one. Couldn't quite take it. As is Aaron Dart, and eventually over the boundary. So the Roosters' domination on this competition continues. Of course, we've still got a quarter and a bit to play here, but it looks obviously certain that they're going to make another grand final in this competition. They've won 4 in a row. As they now move the ball around, Clements back inside forward 50. 1-on-1 here, Hennessy leads his way up at the footy, has Turnbull on him, so eventually trickles over the boundary.
I think the last club I remember, and I'm obviously not familiar with all the country leagues around South Australia, but back in the 90s, Goodwood Footy Club, Goodwood Saints Footy Club in the Amateur League, dominated A1 for about 8 or 9 years with, I'm pretty sure, somewhere in that 7 to 8 flags.
Yep.
Definitely 5 in a row at some stage there.
You just wonder how long it'll go for, even though they've got that core group of players that they've got. As Whittlesey takes the mark for Mallala, the chance to go back inside forward 50. They've still got some youngsters coming up. And obviously they've still got a young group of, their juniors program is really good as well. They'll still feature in the final series in the 17s, the reserves as well, of course, winning earlier today. They were in a grand final, so...
Yeah, well, the reserves are a little bit older. They've got a lot of older blokes.
Yep.
So it's not necessarily too much to draw from the reserves, especially if they get a few retirements after the 5th year, or 5th win, I should say. So
he slipped back inside forward 50, waiting for the leader in Hennessy, but doing well, eventually trundling over the boundary line there was Turnbull. Turnbull was one that's broken into the A grade this year as well. He kicked 6 goals in the Rezzies for the first half of the year and then broke in as their ruckman.
Yeah, he's held his spot since Thompson's come back. That's for sure. So we did play him last year in the reserves a bit as well.
So a little further down the line, but an intercept mark here taken by Riley Thorne. So Thorne Just waiting to see what presents, but once again just having to go a little further, but does find a good lead from Tiller coming out of the forward 50. A little far from home, so see something over the top, but look at Two Wells close, just falling across the front, taking the mark is Dart.
He tried to kick a long ball to a relatively small player and had 5 blokes surrounding him.
Yeah, Barnett, brilliant mark. Climbing over the pack, cuts off the corridor and right through the middle. So Sekafine now onto it. A little bit of space if he can just pick up the ball. Has someone inside for a handball, just stops and composes himself though. Goes with a kick inside forward 50. And Franklin once again with a mark, so a little further from home this time. We'll have an opportunity from about 45 metres.
Have a ping, son.
You might as well have a crack with the...
Well,
with
10 goals up and you're
Yep.
inside the forward 50. You got Slattery and Thompson down there waiting for it, so nothing to lose.
Well, Barnett has no one on him. So Dobbs it short instead. Sean Smith given a ton of room. No one within 20 metres of him. Sean Smith will get an opportunity to convert on a goal.
I don't think he's passing it off.
No, I don't think so. Key forwards, they'll get their opportunity. So I mentioned
He kicked one today?
he has kicked one today, so 13 on the season coming into this one. I mentioned before that, interestingly, his first game of the season was actually with Dimbula in the Wimmera League. Pops it up towards goal and pulls it right across out of bounds on the full.
Maybe he should have passed off.
He should have. But strong league, the Wimmera League, so
Yep.
had an opportunity to play there. And I mentioned Dimbula, I fixate on that. That's my regular camping spot every year. I go and camp at Dimbula.
Okay.
It's a brilliant part of the world in Western Victoria, only about half an hour away from Horsham.
Nice.
So a little further down the line, this is the sort of thing we have to resort to, Source, when there's a 10 goals difference in the game.
Does
But
Baller have a golf course, and do you play it?
it does have a golf course, but it's sand scrapes, and I have not played it before.
Well, I think you need to put up a TikTok video playing on the scrapes.
I might have to. I mean, our annual golf trip for the family this year is in Mildura, so
Nice.
that'll be in a couple months' time. But yeah,
I've got
absolutely.
a cricket tournament in Mildura at the end of this month.
There we go. So we're dominating the commentary here and Mildura later on in the year, but Barnett
Goal.
going close to goal, once again putting it through and just turning this
Oh, it's hit
game
the
up a
post.
little more. So it did flick the post. Well,
That's 5.
That has to be something wrong with that there. Are they thicker here at Hamley Bridge or something like that? But
I'm sure they are.
so another behind as they now go out to 60 once again. Go a little further
Oh,
down
Jack
the line.
Lane.
He has taken some clunking marks here in this game, no doubt being one of Mallala's best, if not their best. So just has nowhere to go. Has to go a little further down the line and wait for the leapers to get at it. King knocks it down in front. Heaslip running onto the footy, but Siren and Boundary will beat him to go to three-quarter time, and it was just a domination there in the third quarter from Two Wells. I mentioned right in the first seconds of it that really it's a premiership quarter to win games, and they put Mallala to bed there to finish that one off. So still a quarter to go, out in front by 60 points. Two Wells will be looking to seal up their grand final spot in the fourth quarter.
Would you just not... I was going to say, would you just not come out after three-quarter time?
Possibly.
Just save yourself for next week.
Possibly, yeah, maybe just save the
Forfeit
legs.
from here.
Mallala will obviously be looking to just take it a little easy as they have Hammocks watch them next week. But we're going to go to a break. We have the fourth quarter coming right up in a moment. Welcome back to Hamley Bridge Oval here. Fourth quarter about to get underway. It's a second semi-final between the first and second side on the ladder, but the first and the Two Wells Roosters absolutely flexing their muscle here at the moment. My name's Lewis McKenna. I'm joined by Source, who of course is the reserves coach for Angle Vale. You've still got some coaching to do next week, of course, in the preliminary final, but
Hopefully 2 more weeks.
Hopefully 2 more weeks for you, absolutely. But yeah, this is, we mentioned it just then before, that third quarter, it was a bit of a cakewalk for them at times, rolling inside forward 50, just kept going back in there.
Yeah, they certainly had a lot of the ball, and they just put the foot down as they do, and just did what Two Wells is capable of doing. You just cannot take the intensity out of the game at all when you're playing them. As soon as you do, what we saw in that third quarter happens.
That moments of intensity, Mallala, in the second quarter, where they were able to eat into the margin. It was 39 points at quarter time. They were able to get it down even as little as 25 points, but as Wise smothers it over the boundary. They were able to get it down to 25 points after being down by about 40, but yeah, it's a little bit of an uphill battle, then turned into an absolute mountain for them to try and overcome. And now in a bit of trouble in this game. But as you mentioned, still a bit of work to do. Try and keep those bodies fit before a likely preliminary final next week against Hummocks as close to the boundary. May gets a handball over the top. Ball still in dispute here. Slee with a tackle. Rainbreak not allowed to go anywhere. So
Just feel that it might turn and just might open up a little bit in this last quarter.
yeah. Yeah, you do have to protect bodies a little bit here, especially, well, for both sides. Of course, Two Wells will get the week off, but Mallala got to turn around in 7 days' time and still have a grand final to try and make. Certainly haven't played their best footy today, so of course it'll be a bit of a, a bit of a chink in the armour, a bit of a hurt to the confidence. Well, hoping to put up a better performance than this, but they can produce their best footy. There's still a chance. Sekafine, the kick out wide. Whittlesey running his way onto the footy, just pops it on the boot and now into the middle of the ground. Dart off his boot and interceptor once again. Nauman couldn't quite pick the ball up, Franklin, and now the Magpies through Heaslip. Inside forward 50, pops it up into space. Bouncing towards goal. Does it get there? Olds saves it and dribbles it through for a goal. So the Magpies were the first of the fourth quarter through Olds. Yeah, did well to compose himself there, Cale.
Quality player.
Absolutely is.
Could have almost let that bounce in.
Yeah, nearly got there. Slattery got
Slowly overrun it. Went bounced back over his
he
head.
got dealt with an awful bounce.
Olds could have just let it go, but hey, take the goal while you can. Why not?
Absolutely. So the second goal for Cale Olds peppered the goals in the second quarter with a few behinds, but he's had a decent game, of course, by his lofty standards. So Sportal scoreboard now 6-6-42 for the Magpies. Still a massive mountain to climb. Should there be any miracles happen here at Hamley Bridge Oval, but now to the outer side. Nauman will chip a ball across, one-on-one contest. Comes out the back and someone's got to touch it, but no one does. So trickles over and should be a free kick here to Two Wells and is. So Sammy Harness waltzes his way in, uses all his measure and goes further down the line, but Eckerman sitting underneath it takes a mark. Chips the ball across the corridor, but it's not quite a good kick through the middle of the ground. Wilson good enough to pick it up, and diving and taking the mark is Thorne. So positive ball movement here for Mallala. Riley Thorne yet to kick a goal in season 2025. This one really important. Well, fairly important. It's still a massive climb for them. But a bit of confidence. Plays a bit of his time in the back line. Just sprays it out
Kicks
right.
like a backman.
So couldn't quite put that one through. On the scoreboard, another behind. So 6-7-43 now on the Sportal scoreboard. So one thing we'll have to keep an eye on as well in this last quarter is who our player of the game is going to be. Harness certainly still a contender in this one. Had plenty of the footy. I reckon he'd be nearing about 30 touches out of the back line. Goes a 1-2 here to bolster that number up as well, and right on cue gets called for holding the ball, so it's not very good from me. Olds chips the ball in, and Heaslip a mark just inside 50. Kicked a goal from outside 50 in the second quarter, so he'll back himself a chance here, Sauce.
Just inside, even with tired legs. Breeze behind his back.
Yeah, give him a chance here.
Started that left goal post.
Let's put it up there. It's fading right across. Doesn't quite have the distance. Thorne nearly taking the mark once again. Does get it this time. Snaps around his body towards goal, but couldn't quite put it through. Obviously looked a bit awkward there on the left peg. So another behind for Riley Thorne. This is the sort of forward half play that Mallala wanted about 45 minutes ago. So Dart, Humphries.
Just keep it now, slow it down, chip it away, chip it around, keep possession of the ball.
Humphries runs his measure through the middle of the ground. Eckerman come climbing through. Slattery out the back. Slee's there as well. Goes diving to the ground. One hand pick up by Barnett. Switches to the outer side. Bit of space here to roll into goal. Pellizzari, 25 out. Splits the middle. You just mentioned there, 30 seconds ago, Sauce, it was right in front of us on the half-back flank. And as easy as you like, they slingshot it up the other end of the ground. So Pellizzari through for his first goal of the afternoon. Even when it looks like Mallala are really doing a lot of good work, locking it in their forward half, they just compose themselves, the Roosters. They just shrug their shoulders, not a big deal. Humphries was really crucial in that play as well to clear it out, and Barnett with a one-handed pick-up. Pat on the back to him as well. So Pellizzari in for a goal. They're all joining the party here at Hamley Bridge Oval. Thompson with a huge handball, as effective as a kick. Centre half forward, Wise walks through a couple. Thompson, extra handball over the top. Sekafine, brilliant little handball out in the pocket. Wise, Slattery couldn't quite take the mark. Warnicky still with a bit of room. Snaps around his body towards goal. Sitting underneath it once again is Ed Mead. Trying to take it, dribble it out the back of the contest, but through for a minor score.
You can see even with that Jacob Thompson handball going forward was really to no one, but it found a target.
Yeah. It's just fortune, because they're looking to take the game on at the right times, not just, being too rough with it. They're not kind of just hacking it on the boot whenever they possibly can. As I look over the other side as well, and I wondered why he'd been quiet a moment ago, but Braden Tippett with the jumper on, he's obviously out of the game, sitting just to the left-hand side of their bench, so usually a handy player out of their midfield and forward line, and can't see any strapping or ice or anything like that on him, but he's sitting on the bench, and
he's just taking the jumper off now, is he?
No, he's gone to the back of the bench, so
okay.
Yeah, he's obviously out of this one.
Another injury they don't need going into prelim finals.
Well, yeah, you mentioned that they're reserves as well. A few ankle injuries possibly on this deck earlier today, and of course their reserves also getting handed a pretty significant loss to the hands of the Roosters, so
yeah,
not a good day here for Mallala, must be said. Gets knocked down in front, and ball's not really going anywhere. Clement's trying to rip it away. So on that, we should recap the results throughout the day as well here at Hamley Bridge Oval. It was in the middle of the ground. Baker tries to step his way through a tackle, but didn't have any prior opportunity through Humphries. But it was the under-14s. It was Virginia getting the win by 34 points over Angle Vale. So, of course, every team here gets a second chance, the losing side. So winning side going through to the grand final, losing side into the prelim as May tries to hack it out. Tiller a little chipping ball to the outer side, and Taylor will run onto it. So centre wing, he'll have a bounce and a second. And now a third. In fact, this is Baker. So to the paint of 50, pops it up to the top of the square, waiting for Thorne to close, and Dart takes the mark. Handball over the top, and Devlin do this so easy. Humphries works around his opponent in Wilson. Once again runs his full measure. over the top, and Harris handballs back to Humphreys. Long ball down the line, inside forward 50, and another good mark taken by Jack May. So just to recap those results, as I was mentioning before, Virginia getting the win over Anglevale in the under-14s, qualified through. Under-17s, it's Two Wells 10-9-69, defeating Anglevale 7-4-46. And then it's Two Wells in the reserves 13-13-91 over Mallala 6-1-37. So through the middle of the ground, Slee inside forward 50, looking for Hennessy, but out the back, Turnbull, who I've been impressed with him.
Yeah, he's been serviceable today.
Barnett, chip it across, Franklin. So they went end to end from this exact spot a few minutes ago in about 20 seconds time. They chip a ball across, but it's punched down by Morn. Has no one there to help him out though, Mallala. They're a little too worried about where Two Wells are going to go next. And Franklin will hack it around his body. Comes through, and Jordan Clements now rolling into open goal over the top, and Turnbull did well to get a hand on it. Just had to put a little bit more into that, Clements. So through for another minor score. Out to a 60-point advantage once again. 58 points, I should say, on the Sportal scoreboard. So Devlin, Harness. Chips the ball across, Franklin. Harness once again get that run he likes, all the way across the other side of the ground. Sitting underneath this one though is Brad Wilson. He's been quiet by his lofty standards here today, but midfield, as you've mentioned, Source, hasn't probably put it to him as he'd like, and he maybe just shows him exactly how he wants it. Thorne, down to the top of the square, but sprays it away. Harness. Noah Barnett. Franklin, back to Harness. Loses the ball. Taylor, dropping the ball in the tackle. Called play on. Getting ripped down now. So Mead, back into the corridor. Snapping around the body towards goal once again, and they got no one there, the Magpies. Turnbull goes further down the line, and Smith right in front of the commentary track will take the mark. Getting a little lost with their forward 50 setup, it seems, the Magpies at the moment.
Yeah, they're being too defensive, I think.
Yeah.
Holding his own at the half-forward line instead of getting deep enough to score.
Well, Two Wells will have 3 or 4 players inside of that 25-metre arc.
Yeah, so where are the Magpie players?
Yeah, just nowhere to go. They pop it up towards goal, and they got no one there to try and convert, as Olds now wrapped up by 3 Roosters. So centre wing, they'll hurl it up once more. Slattery will knock it down in front. Warnicky does well to get the handball out. Wise, he's scored it over the boundary line by Jacob Baker. So definitely a little bit of intensity sucked out of this contest now with the margin the way it is.
Yeah, well, it'll be about preservation for next week. So
for sure, for both sides.
Both sides, yeah.
Slee breaks his way through a tackle, gets the handball out wide. Wilson forced to play out of the defence now. Yeah, it's a no one at all. Once again getting lost in their offensive setup, and a good way to kick over the top. Harness tries to bite off a kick in the middle of the ground. King just bats it out in front of himself. They move it out through hands. Baker's there, just loses the handball. Has to execute the kick now, and Baker couldn't quite take the mark. Goes ripping through though, did well. Now has all the space to pop it up towards goal. Pops it over the top, Riley Thorne sitting underneath it, taking the mark. So his last couple opportunities he hasn't converted, so does the right thing and chips it across the tiller. So Two Wells happy for Mallala really to roll in there and find a few targets. They've done well to stop it here in the fourth quarter. Tiller only off a couple steps, pops it through the middle. So another goal there for the Magpies on the Sportal scoreboard. Now moving to 7-9-51. 15-13, 103, the Roosters.
You just can't see how two Wells are going to be beaten in the grand final.
Yeah, really hard, isn't it?
Just that they're just so clean over the whole ground. They're so well structured, so well drilled.
It's, as a commentator, I have to be perfectly neutral, and actually legitimately am perfectly neutral. I have no ties to any club in this competition, but I 100% agree with you. I've called a lot of clubs, and Mallala have put on some clinical footy. I mean,
they have.
They disposed Anglevale by 100 points a few weeks ago,
yes.
as did Two Wells. And they've dispatched some teams this year, but Two Wells just looking a league of their own. There's Clements now out of the middle of the ground. A long high ball inside forward 50. Thorne's been busy in this fourth quarter, knocks at the ground. Comes out a bit further to Wise, couldn't pick the ball up cleanly. Mead knocked to the ground. He slips there under the contest as well, and called for holding the ball. So well done to Jack Heaslip. Gets an opportunity.
It's a good movie back in the 80s, 90s. League of Their Own.
I was wondering what you're talking about.
With Tom Hanks.
Holds from the paint of 50, gets the handball.
I didn't think you'd know it.
No. Once again, we're in two different generations.
Very different generations.
So, through for a minor score.
David Hayden's been very good as well.
Yeah, as to be expected every week.
Very rarely does he waste a footy. Look at that, just composed.
Just off one step, just finds a chest whenever he likes. Can have traffic around him or not. There's one of the scarier looking footballers I've ever seen. Turnbull takes a mark, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. He's got the bun and the little tail hanging out the back, and the knee-high sock in the ruck, and he's
hasn't got any tats over him though.
No, but I feel like he doesn't need it.
No,
he's fierce in his own right. So if you're watching the game back as well, Trent, I mean that in the nicest way possible. You're a very scary looking man out there, intimidating creature in the ruck. So Eckerman, handball over the top, crashing through. Edmead, a little further from home, gets slowed down after it as well, and I reckon they'll remonstrate with him as well.
I reckon he's got lost.
So
should check him for a concussion. He's not normally this far away from goal.
That's it.
I don't think he knows where he is.
Yeah, I think he forgot what way they're going. So up the other end, Harness out the back of the contest once again. I tell you, I like Sekafine, but Harness has been really good.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking it's probably between Sekafine, Harness and Hayden, to be fair.
Yep, I think you're right.
Like, everybody's contributed from Two Wells. There's no passengers as usual, but those three have probably in the top three, I would think. The only thing for me with Harness in this last quarter, he's just turned the ball over or got caught holding the ball a couple of times, which has sort of made his day a little untidy. But it's your call, mate. It's your call.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes they really stand out.
If you're happy with Harness, I'm happy to back you.
I called the BLGW Grand Final last week, and it was possibly the easiest decision of my life.
Right.
Lauren Smith took about 28 intercept marks, and it was super easy. But this one, not as easy.
No.
Barnett with a handball out the back. He's been handy as well, Barnett, but
as always,
to be expected. So handball through the middle here for Mallala. Taylor in the dust bowl in the middle of Hamley Bridge Oval. We'll pop it up long and high, but once again, no one there for Mallala, and wouldn't have mattered anyway as it trickles over the boundary line. So Aaron Dart needs to work his way up the cricket pitch to fetch the footy back. Maybe roll the arm over while he's in there as well. Getting close to cricket season.
Yeah, I've been training for a while. This over 50s cricket representative.
Where are you playing your cricket, Source? Time to plug yourself.
Captain of the B grade at Para Hills, but I play over 50s as well, and we've got what's essentially a Big Bash League coming up, so I represent the Sandgropers. I've been picked up by the Western Australians in the draft.
There we go.
For the second year running.
Jeez,
so we play that in Mildura.
21-year-old like yourself play over 50s?
21-year-old, yeah. Yeah, that's it. So, and then from there we've got Nationals representing South Australia in Brisbane this year, so lots of cricket coming up. Too much for a bloke my age.
There's other worse ways you could be spending your time, Sauce.
Oh, there is.
What are you, batter, bowler?
All-rounder.
All-rounder,
Yeah.
of course. That's to be expected. Palizari. Chip a ball across. Nearly colliding there. Turnbull in the middle, but Franklin taking the mark. Rainbreaks. So right in the middle of Hamley Bridge Oval. Chip the ball across. Slattery couldn't quite pick it up cleanly, but did well to get the handball out. Back onto it is Slattery. Mead sitting on the back of him. In fact, that's Taylor. Comes out the back of the contest through Noah Barnett. Trying to pick it up, Taylor, through the contest, and ball's still getting bobbled around. Umpire circling, but we hurled back up once again. So you can see here the way they're actually set up as well, Sauce, behind the play now.
Yeah, they've got
Dino
that
won't
one
get on
free.
camera, but they have one free here at the moment too. Well, maybe just practicing some stuff. That's obviously not essential given the margin. Maybe just trying some stuff out.
Yeah, they usually always have someone set up at the back.
And even now they flick Aaron Dart up to the middle of the ground and they make sure someone else comes back just to play that spare role. Don't give Mallala an opportunity. So Warnocky now wrapped up. Twenty and a half minutes gone, fourth quarter. Two wells.
And the energy is just gone from this game.
Yeah,
you just
absolutely
feel it out
is.
there. It's just flat.
So Rainbreak once again towards goal, but just pulls it across to the left through for a minor score. Yeah, we haven't seen too many scores here, especially in the last 10 minutes of this game, Sauce. It's definitely sapped out of it. I mean, having the fair Mallala contingency to our left will also result in a little bit of that energy being sapped out. It's a disappointing result for them, of course. But season not over.
No.
They have won 11 of their past 12 games before this one, so they know how to win a footy game. You'd think they'd be favoured going in against Hummocks next week. And a chance to try and bring their A game a couple of weeks after if they are to get up. Olds now. Gets knocked down. Rainbreak will turn and snap around his body. There's no way he's going to put it through from there and goes to the top of the square. King. They move it out. Over the top of a couple players there. Dart. Pellizzari with a bit of room. Pops it back inside forward 50. A little bit of space to Sean Smith taking the mark in the pocket.
And that's been the difference going into each forward line. You see two L's tend to get a little bit more space on their opponent, whereas Mallala just kicking it on the top of their heads. So
It's been a 25 as well, so Sean Smith will be marching to the top of the goal square and be allowed to pop through an easy one. So it'll be the 16th goal of the game here for Smith, as easy as you like. Not for Smith, he hasn't kicked 16. Geez, that'll be a fair day out. But for Two Wells, it's their 16th goal of the game on the Sportal scoreboard. 16-14, 110 to 7-10-52. Just continued marching on. They've been good all game, of course, Two Wells. Mallala won the second quarter, but really set it up from that first quarter, didn't they, Sauce?
they certainly did. And when you're playing catch-up footy in a final, it's just stuff's with your mindset, and it's just a hard thing to do.
Yeah, even we were saying, or even I was saying there at the start of that second quarter, it was about trying to cut a 40-point margin in half. And that's not what you want to be doing in the second quarter of a qualifying final. So they were on the back foot from the start. The first few minutes of the game, it was really both teams cracking in, but just the composure got the better of them, and they've done well.
The good thing, they haven't given up.
No, definitely not.
Still running and still trying to create some things. It's just their structure and their forward line sort of fallen down a little bit.
Out the back, Hennessy, I think he got a falcon there as well, stays with it and dribbles it through for a minor score.
Recovered well, the big fella, to get his boot on the ball.
Pretty sure that broke through his hands right into the schnoz.
I reckon it has.
So they'll have to retrieve the ball. So Devlin bring the ball back in.
You just wanted to throw something.
So
You didn't even need it.
go long out of defensive 50. Bit of a 2-on-1 here.
Good
Baker
grab.
did well. Fantastic grab. Juggling it in front. So
It's played pretty well off their wing too.
yeah, he has been
Young
good.
fella.
take a bit of confidence out of his performance.
Good kick.
Yeah, good kick right in front of Clements. Couldn't quite take the mark. Rainbreak clears the defensive 50, but only as far as Olds. Just chips a short little ball up to Heaslip. Once again goes through Cale Olds. Back inside, forward 50. It was nearly a perfect kick to Tiller. Just got a hand on it there to intercept. King loses the ball, and they'll be able to play on. Noah Barnett through the middle of the ground. Has a player over the back. Sekafine once again drills a ball inside, forward 50 to Ed Mead.
Unselfish footy there.
Yeah.
He could have gone long to goal.
Could have kicked his fourth, Ned Sekafine.
Surely that would have given him the
I
greenie
reckon.
and the thongs.
I reckon. I mean, Ed
So
Mead.
now he's cost himself. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. It was a brilliant kick. Lace him out. And maybe he's the right person to talk to, as well as he now, in a couple of weeks' time, will have a crack at his 8th premiership for 2Ls. As Ed Mead puts it up towards goal and converts. So, a bag for Caleb Edmead. He's kicked 5. And
Oh, does he come into contention?
he does come into contention, but I think sometimes, I think you actually said this a couple of weeks too, you've got to reward the guys giving it to them. As much as, and we saw right there, Sekafine's kicked 3, but he's also dishing them out as well. So, a bit of both. I think I'm sitting on Ned Sekafine for the moment. I think he's just the right person to talk to. Seven premierships, of course, I mentioned before. 2012, then he had a long 5-year drought to 2017, 2018, and then the last 4 years as well. So, just a veteran of the 2Wells Footy Club.
Sounds like it's settled.
Yeah, got to sell yourself into it, Sauce. So, knocked down in front. Turnbull did well. Chips the ball out. Warnocky turn and spray it off the left boot. So, out of bounds on the full. They'll retrieve the ball back. 26 minutes gone in the 4th quarter. Hamley Bridge have put on a fantastic show here. Crowd has dissipated a little bit as the A-grade game has come to an end.
You've already used that one today.
Damn,
That's all right.
Further into my bag.
I don't mind
So
it.
a little further down the line. And so had Barnett short. Just pops a kick over the top. Slattery climbing over and just encroached on the jumping ability there of Whittlesey.
He's been pretty good too, Whittlesey.
Yeah, he has. Definitely had a hard day, as all the defenders there for Mallala have had a tough day, conceding 116 points, but a little handball out wide. 2-on-1 here for the Roosters as Pellizzari and Olds, the 2 number 7s, cracking in over the boundary line. But Hamley have put on a brilliant display here. Of course, this is the venue of the 2024 Grand Final. Which
Yes,
was
we don't want to remember that.
No, it was
unfortunately, from Anglevale.
Yeah, it was a tricky day as well for a lot of reasons. But hopefully a cleaner Grand Final day in 2025 in a couple of weeks' time at Mallala Oval. There's a chipping ball out wide and diving to it was Ed Mead. Warnocky picks it up though well. Handballs it out wide. Harris has already kicked a goal, snaps around his body. Through for a minor score. So they keep peppering at the goals here. The Roosters 17-15, 117, 7-11, 53. It's tricky, isn't it? It's a fine balance here for Mallala as well between licking their wounds and reflecting what has happened here this afternoon. Obviously dispatched by far more than they'd expect, but then also trying to put it behind you and look forward to next week against Hummocks.
Yeah, well, they can't dwell on it for too long. We've got to make sure they can get back to the grand final.
Yep.
And then reassess everything, see what they can do differently.
Trickles over the boundary line right in front of the benches. So it'll be interesting to see how the injuries have impacted them as well in this game. I can see Jesse Trevor with the boots off on the bench as well now. So getting attended to by one of the trainers. Harris, hopefully just precautionary for the Magpies here with the game gone. And there's the final siren. 2Wells once again get it done. They're going back to another grand final. They'll try and do what a lot of clubs haven't done in Australian local footy and try and win 5 in a row in just a couple weeks' time. Still to be decided who they'll come up against. They may well face Mallala again, or the Hummocks Watchman Eagles, of course. next week at Balaclava Oval. But Source, it was just a dominating performance really from Two Wells. Mallala had chances there in the second quarter, but really couldn't make the most of it.
Yeah, Mallala had their moments, and they are a good side. They just need to go back, reset, try and get themselves back into a grand final, or back again another chance at another crack at Two Wells and see what else they can bring. But it comes down to you cannot allow Two Wells any time and space.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's about the intensity for 4 quarters. They're just so well drilled, as we've spoken about over the last few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And no passengers. You just have to be at them for 4 quarters, and I think that's what most sides can't do in this competition. They can go with them for a certain amount of time, but at some stage, Two Wells, just going to get off the leash and just hurt you really quickly. Kick that 6 goals in no space of time, and all of a sudden you're left dizzy, wondering what the hell happened.
That'll bring us to the end of this game. Of course, don't go anywhere. We're going to have the Player of the Game presentation in just a moment. But thanks for filming Footy. My name's Lewis McKenna, Dino on the camera. We've also got Sauce here. Thanks for joining us as well as always. And don't go anywhere. Player of the Game coming right up. Well, g'day footy fans, we're back here at Hamley Bridge Oval. Of course, it was the qualifying final to get through to a granny, and Two Wells did that emphatically. We've got Ned Sekafine, who is our player of the game, and mate, you're a veteran of this club. I was just chatting to you on the way over here. You've now got a chance to go and win your 8th premiership.
Yep, number 8, and I think it's my 11th grand final in the seniors.
Jeez.
And it'll be my 300th as well.
Yes, I've just been told that. 300 games,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, definitely already a legend of the club, but now that'd be pretty special. I know you obviously just want to celebrate the win here and take it easy going to the grand final, but geez, a grand final win in a 300 would be pretty cool.
Yeah, didn't expect it to work out that way because I missed a couple at the start of the year, but yeah, a bit of added pressure if anything, but yeah, really want it even more now, so yeah.
You've seen a lot of players obviously roll through the club. 2012 was your first premiership as well, and now you see these players come through. Do you ever look back at this club and go, geez, we are just so successful, and pinch yourself and realise that you're one of the best footy clubs really in South Australia?
Yeah, no, it's... When I first started, we struggled for 10 or 15 years, and I really wanted to turn it around. My old man played 300 for the club, and there was a group of 10 lads, and we kind of set the standard, I feel, early, and then the lads that have come through have just followed it for 10, 15 years, and yeah, if you want to play footy with us, there's a standard we expect, and everyone rises to it. So, yeah.
Absolutely, you've done that. You'll be looking for 5 in a row next week, mate. You've won a pair of Archie's thongs. You've got a beanie there as well, mate. So thank you very much. You're a player of the game. Go and sing the song, mate.
Right, thanks, mate.
No worries. Thank you, footy fans. Brilliant calling the action here. We're going to have a preliminary final next week at Balaclava. It's going to be the losers here today, Mallala, facing off against Hummocks Watchmen. Tune in next week for all of the action there. Of course, the grand final in 2 weeks at Mallala as well. Thank you so much, footy fans, and we'll be back with all the action next week for the APFL.